Hey guys, this is Matt for Creative. Today we're doing the review on this thing. This is the Polaroid Go. This is my new favorite instant camera. If you know anything about me, I go for more digital photography, filming digital, shooting photos on digital. I use like a whole slew of Canon cameras, mostly including an iPhone, but whenever a new instant photography camera comes out, I really like to try it, and it actually makes me fall back in love with instant photography again. The reason why I don't do traditional film photography like maybe 35mm is because it takes too long to get a result. For me, I want to see exactly what it is, how can I improve, and then how can I go on next by taking more shots. If I was playing with 35mm film, not knowing too much of manual use of camera, even though I've been shooting for years, it would be hard for me to actually embrace it. And if let's say I get one full roll of bad film, I'm in a bad place. I'm not going to be happy. So that's where this comes in. This is the Polaroid Go. This is a tiny little camera that shoots film that's even smaller than the Instax Mini. That's a camera we'll be mentioning a lot here today because it is going to be directly competing. Those two cameras are on the same front, but I found that they have different uses. So if you've had a traditional Polaroid camera that shoots either 600 film or I-type film, you're going to have something that's maybe about this big. Oh, I had the film. Oh, I had it right here. I had it right here for the video. Now it's gone. I'm pretty sure one of the cats knocked it down. One sec. Yes, I found it here. This is traditional Polaroid photography. This is the size, hand for size, and this is Polaroid Go photography. It is tiny. Now, just for a quick comparison before we go through others, this is Instax Mini photography. As you can see, it's the same width, almost exactly, but it is a taller film. So this one gives you that kind of square image. This is going to give you a long format, so you can either shoot in portrait or horizontally. You can make that choice. It's up to you. So again, if you've seen the other videos that I've been making, I took this camera out and I shot this in Times Square at night, which may have been a mistake here, because the photos that I got were pretty dark. Now, for me, I'm okay with the photography that we did here, but this is a camera that needs light. This is something, I mean, you can definitely see an image there, but it would be much better with light, and later on we'll see exactly what this is. Now, this is using flash, and it's also using that kind of ambient light that Times Square has. And if you've ever been around Times Square, you know that in person it feels so bright, but even with this, I didn't get a lot of, see, that's me in the clearest one because I had a flash right on my face, and that's where we got something. All of these images, they do grow in detail after about a day, and that's what Polaroid photography is really known for. If you didn't know, 15 minutes to really develop the film first, but if you really want to get something, it's going to take probably about a day or two, where the blacks go from kind of greenish black to more black, and it fully develops. And try to keep that out of the sunlight if possible, because that definitely does help. And it seems to be the same kind of touch that full-size photography or Polaroid photography would have, with the same chemistry as this. So it is about the same. Now, let's go into the camera a little bit more before we look at the good daytime photography, and I'll let you know why I'm going to be going with this camera in the future. So we have the camera here. It has an internal battery that charges by micro USB, unfortunately not USB-C. I know it probably costs a little bit more to do so, but for convenience sake, I have USB-C and not so many micro USB things anymore. It'd be good just to do it, but thankfully you charge it up and you don't really have to charge it again for a long time. I think they say about 10 packs of film, but for me, I've shot maybe about 5 packs of film and I've been fine. But I do, just as the same with all my other devices, I like to leave it charged overnight just so I have a full charge just in case something happens. But right now it's kind of hard to get this film other than on Polaroid's website, but eventually you will have it more accessible just like the traditional Polaroid photography. So on the front here you have the flash, you have the lens, and you have your viewfinder. So if you look through the viewfinder, let's see if you can actually see through the viewfinder. It's pretty big. Now it may show small here, but for the size of this camera, it's pretty big. On the front, you can actually see that there is a mirrored coating on this. So this is that selfie mirror. Right now, I can see myself. I can see how I'm framed. Now I'm out of frame. I'm in frame. It just works out really well on something this small. That would be equivalent to the little selfie mirror as we have here on this Instax Mini 11. And it's functional. Like, I have this here, I can see myself, but it's ugly. This, for me personally, it's an ugly camera. It looks too alien and organic. There's no hard edges. There's no definite, use. It's functional, but it is not as pretty as this little camera. They definitely took their time on researching and developing the design of this camera, which they do very well. So on the bottom here you have your little door that releases that pack of film. Instead of sliding it in as you do with other cameras, the larger Polaroid cameras, you just open this door, it opens like this, you put the film in, it ejects the dark slide, which is used to keep your pictures from not being exposed by light. And then you are ready to shoot. When you are ready to turn it on, you kind of hold this for half a second, and now you can see that you have 6 left, and that dot means the flash is on. I take a lot of photos during the day where I turn that flash off. So a little bit of a hold here. Let's see if we can get that. Just tap, and that means that the flash is going to be off for this one. Now, I know that there is a way to get flash permanently off, but for some reason I can't get to that yet. Now if you want a double exposure, now look at this readout. 1, 2, you're now in double exposure mode. You'll be taking the first exposure now. Once you take it, the second exposure comes, and then that's it. You have a double exposure. It is that easy. It's literally, how many buttons are on this? 3 buttons. Power, the flash, the double exposure, and if you long press this, you'll see here at the very top, that light goes on. That means that's the self timer. And of course, the shutter. Everything is right there. It is extremely convenient. And again, with this viewfinder, you may have not been able to see this, but it is a big viewfinder. If you hold it here on this side, which allows my nose to go past here, because if you go like this, maybe it looks better in photos, but you're going to be taking this more like this. Viewfinder is, of course, on the side here, so something may be out of whack with the framing of this because you're not looking down the true lens, but it just works. Again, one of my favorite little cameras, and I will be using this a lot. So let's take a look at more images that I shot. This one was actually during the day in bed with my cats. This is a daylight photo, and you can see because I exposed with the flash, the back is very, very dark. The next one here is I'm pointing right into the sunlight with the plant there, and you have this kind of moody looking photo. I'll get more on that later. The next one that I took was bright during the day. I was in shadow. You can see that the building there is exposed, but you can see a lot of the shadow detail is lost. Now this is the first portrait that I took with my friend. We're using natural light because there's a gigantic window, and you can see that the store behind us that we're inside is very bright. It looks a little bit dark, but she is perfectly exposed just with that huge window that we have here. And I think this is where it does it really well. This one has a warm temperature, and I like warm photos. This is a photo that I took with my cat for that comparison between the Instax Mini, the Polaroid 1 Step 2, and this camera. And you can see there's a little bit of pinking on the photo, which may have been just this film. Here's another one with a large amount of pinking on this. This was in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, bright daylight. And again, has that kind of vintage look, which a lot of people say. Now this is one of my favorite photos because you can see light. There is not a lot of detail again in the shadows, but this is kind of during dusk. And I think it looks good. I mean, you can definitely understand that it's a city. You can see the layout. I think it works out well, but for those definite details, you're gonna have to go with something else. And soon you'll see why I'm gonna have probably a 2-camera setup if I'm gonna be going for a 24-hour day. Now this is my friend here at her softball game. Bright, bright light. This is perfectly exposed, no flash, and look at that detail. It looks like she's from the 90s. It is one of my favorite photos just because of the way that the composition works. The detail is there, and I think the lighting is really, really good. So again, we have another image on the softball field. Now you have to, again, realize we are in direct sunlight. This is literally anything and everything that we could get with the sun. Now here is one of the first intentional double exposures that I took. I first took this kind of whole area where the team was playing, and then I took a flash photo of myself. That's why I'm coming out more than the rest of the image, because I'm much more detailed and defined here. The next image is again a more traditional one where somebody is hitting the baseball or the softball. Again, extremely bright, and this is what you get. This one I thought I was getting the hang of what this type of camera is. This is a more artistic camera, and I thought, okay, we're gonna take some artistic pictures where I saw kind of greenish yellow leaves with a blue background, and I think it's a beautiful composition. I think it's just kind of what this kind of camera is made for. We had a dog at the game, and I tried taking a photo of the dog, and it just kind of didn't work out because there is a slight delay. All right, the camera is off right now, so nothing's gonna happen, but when I hit here, I expect with a digital camera, instant photography. It's just gonna take that photo and go. But with this, it's like click, and now it goes. Now I know that didn't seem like a long time, but if you're tracking movement, if you are tracking a pet or a child, there is gonna be some kind of delay. So click, no, sorry, click, yes, and that's it. There is gonna be a little bit of delay, so if you are coming from digital photography, just expect a delay in that photograph for that flash to go off, for everything to go. You may miss that moment, unfortunately. Here is an intentional double exposure. Same person at bat, and just from 2 different angles. Not my favorite image, but still a double exposure to show. This next one here is of the dog in the previous photo sleeping. Now unfortunately, this is kind of blurred in the front and more detailed in the back. I'd like it the opposite way. I guess I could pull back. It's something that I have to learn about this camera, because with the other digital camera, instant camera that I've been using, the Instax Mini 11, that has a feature where you can definitely have a general mode, and if you do this, that's a selfie mode, which pulls the focus closer to you. Unfortunately, the Polaroid Go does not have that. And the last photo that I have from the Polaroid Go is going to be this. Now this is a daytime shot, but we have our drinks in front of us. I have a flash on, so of course the background is going to be a little bit black. Now I know this is not a comparison video between the Polaroid Go and the Instax Mini 11, but I do want to show you some photographs so you can kind of get a read on what kind of photography you can be doing with each and why you choose the Polaroid Go. So this is that same cat picture from earlier, exactly from the same place with the same lighting, same position, just everything the same, except of course black border. This is the same dog, really getting close, and I think I did use that selfie mode. Unfortunately, the dog came out blurry and the background is more defined. This is a interesting image. We got chocolate little lobsters and we all cheered the lobsters. And when this first came out, it was very muddy and undefined. I was like, what is this photo? Take a look at that closer. The details have been growing on this photo for more, and it just works. And again, this is another, the last night shot where I'm taking a picture of my friend's food. She flips me off, and that's just, this is the image. Now, I would say, if you want to go out and make some artistic photographs, some beautiful shots of the city, of the countryscape, of wherever you are, and you want to have your kind of mood on this, you use this camera, because this is going to almost have a type of vintage filter that you either like or you don't, but it definitely has its type of uses. Its prime use is going to be very bright sunlight during the day, maybe into early evening, but once it gets really dark, you're going to have to rely on that flash. If you're shooting photos of your friend, maybe from this distance, you're going to be fine. But if you're shooting photos of just a whole cityscape, including something like even something as bright as Times Square where there's LEDs everywhere, you're not going to get that much of an exposure. And that's unfortunate, because daytime camera, new camera with an internal battery, this thing is just, it's one of my favorite cameras. By the way, this does go for $99. The film comes in 16, which is a dual 8-pack, because all that fits inside here is 8 photos at a time, not 16 photos at a time. But those do go for $19.99, so that is a discount from normal I-type film. But that's really the use that I find for the Polaroid Go. Just kind of getting your own artist's impression on a photo, and that's just that. It's functional and it is beautiful. Now this one here, no internal battery. You have to put AA or AAA batteries inside. You do have more use because this is general and this is selfie. But as you can probably tell, the photos that I took on this camera, the Instax, are much more defined photos. They are with a purpose, just clear photos. And I just want to show you that one cat photo, and you'll be able to see the major difference between this. On the Instax Mini 11, you'll get much more contrast and a reliable photo. This one, you may have something to do with the that little the pink, maybe something to do with the chemistry on this, but you can definitely see. If you want something clear, shot maybe at night, of your friends in a more moving situation, you go for this. It'll capture that and do that well. If you want something that is, what I would say, continually vintage, more artistic, more, you can put your type of feeling into the photo, you're going to go with this, because it is not just basically film photography or digital photography in instant format. This is going to be kind of like a memory. It's going to be very specific to the way you used it, to the situation that you're in. It creates a different kind of mood. And again, if I took this on the Instax 11, it would look much different than it does here. But here, looking back on this, I have this kind of memory of, it's not an immediate memory, it's a past memory already, and it looks beautiful to me. But this camera is not for everybody. The entire Polaroid line is not for everybody. You do have to understand that the instant film chemistry on the Polaroid Go, including the I-type film and 600 film and any other film that Polaroid makes, that is going to be its own type of feel. Whereas if you shoot with the Instax 11, it's going to be more direct. It's going to give you more of what you expect in 2021. But it's kind of interesting how the aesthetics of the cameras are complete opposite from one another. This is very defined and clean cut, and this gives you those kind of wavy photos. This is just kind of organic, but it gives you that clean cut photography. But I think it's very interesting. I definitely am very happy with the Polaroid Go after shooting with it for a week. Whenever I pull out the camera, it's very it's very eye-catching right now because it's only available in white. And a lot of people, oh, Siri just activated. A lot of people pull me aside, hey, what is that? And I have given a lot of the photos away already. Like I said, I shot 5 packs of film, which are 40 pictures, and this is what I have left. Not 40 pictures, but less than that. I think it's a cool thing to have. I think it's very clean. In size comparison with these two, the Go is shorter than it, and it is a tiny bit less wide. And it's interesting because this is how you really would hold them. So I think a very cool thing to have for the summer. I know this is going to make my summer memories just very, very dreamy in 2021. All right, guys, if you have any questions, put that in the comment section below. Don't forget I'm on Instagram at m8b9. You can email me at matt8b9@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want more videos like this, or if you want me to shoot in a particular place, again, comment section below. That's just the best place to do it. I am now back into instant photography. I enjoy it, so I'll be doing more of this for myself and you guys too. But thank you guys for watching. I'm going to continue shooting with this, and I'll see you next time.